Hey, Suzette the Marriage Warrior again, and we are in our second video of our series on how to reset your marriage. Today we're going to talk about why do you keep having the same fight over and over. No matter what the issue is, the root is always the same. Now, the root in each person comes from childhood development. How you developed and coped and learned a coping mechanism in your childhood is what a trigger is made of. And I can promise you that in your argument cycles, you are triggered, and so is your partner, by some root that is still kind of stagnant there that has not been revealed and healed, because you've got to reveal it, you got to feel it, then you heal it. And the reveal and the feel is typically not really acknowledged during the cycle of an argument. Now, when you're looking at root issues and argument cycles, you're looking at two different things. An argument cycle is the dynamic, the dance that you guys are doing every time. And you know, you guys out there, you husbands, y'all can see that dance coming miles away, and that's why you eject quickly from what could seem like an argument, because you know where it's going. And so you ladies, if you feel like he's escaping the argument so fast, it's because he knows the dynamic that it's about to go in and he doesn't want to argue. And so without arguing on some level, you can't confront, and therefore you can't reveal, which means you can't heal. So how do we deal with this? Well, we have to first of all slow down. When you feel that your dance is about to start stepping on each other's feet and you know what happens next, every single action has the same reaction because y'all haven't pulled yourself out of the dynamic or the cycle, then slow down first of all to change what is happening inside that interaction. Even if it's a quick timeout, even if it's, okay, let's slow our pace down here, let's lower our voices, whatever suggestions you can do to kind of shift the dynamic. Now, what makes that hard is that anxiety between the two of y'all is escalating. And so it's very difficult to pull yourself out of an escalated dynamic because you're triggered. And when you're triggered, you're under a lot of pressure, a lot of anxiety, and you don't want to stop. But I'm telling you that if you can kind of regulate your anxiety and don't let yourself get past about a 6 on a 0 to 10 Likert scale, 10 being really crazy anxiety, then if you can manage and regulate your anxiety at about a 6, you are still a sane person and you can pull yourself out of the cycle in order to slow the cycle down. Now, in your own private time, what you want to do is look at the trigger and say, okay, I was triggered by this when my partner said this and this. What caused that anxiety to rise in my body? What was the message I heard? And the message is usually rooted in childhood that then creates an anxiety trigger. So the message might be, I'm not good enough. The message might be, I'm wrong. You people who deal with a lot of narcissism in your life or your partnerships, they don't want to be wrong. And so any time that you barely have any kind of constructive criticism, they bolt because they do not want to be wrong. And the reason they don't want to be wrong is because there's a wound of inadequacy right there. And they cover it and they think that their ego is going to fool everybody, but it fools no one because then they just are jerks a lot of time. So what you want to know is how to fix the trigger when the trigger is happening, and be able in the argument cycle, if you do the individual work, then in the argument cycle, when you're triggered, you'll know, okay, that belief system's coming up. I'm triggered because I feel like my partner is quickly saying I'm inadequate, I'm not good enough, I'm not worth anything. And if you stop it inside yourself, then you could slow the whole process down because your belief system is changing about you. And so you're more open instead of shutting down inside. That's what we do when we go into a coping mechanism. We shut down the openness of the vulnerability, and then we go into the coping mechanism of whatever it is we've chosen. People pleasing, conflict avoidance, whatever the coping mechanisms are. MWI, MarriageWarriorInstitute.com gives you a myriad of information on that training to figure yourself out. I would encourage you guys to go check that out. But your coping mechanisms will be under your submission if you reveal what it is that's triggering it and say it's a lie. Even if you feel inadequacy at that moment, it doesn't mean that that's what your partner is trying to reveal to you. Your partner might be just trying to create some kind of community between y'all and compromise. But if you feel triggered by that, you're going to leave the conversation in some coping mechanism, and that's what keeps the cycle going. I hope that has helped you guys to reset your marriage and realize that these are the things that are starving your marriage. Your marriage is not broken, and neither are you.